Joining me now from the West Coast. Where are you? Washington?
Los Angeles.
You're in Los Angeles. Wow, I forgot about. And the reason why she's in Los Angeles is because she is a legit superstar. I did not know anything about this. I don't know the gaming community, but I am very intrigued to get into this conversation. She's a superstar on YouTube Red. She has a show called Good Game. She's found in Blizzard Entertainment, esports, and many, many more appearances in both digital series and independent films. She's a Seattle Mariners baseball fan, hates basketball. You can find all things Michele Morrow at michelemorrow.com. And I just cannot wait to get into this conversation. Thank you so much, Michele Morrow.
All right. Thanks for having me, dude. What an intro. I feel so honored.
Okay, so I am very lucky to have you because this is like a world that I know very little about. I went to a Gen Con here in Indianapolis, so I kind of got a chance to feel such a positive vibe of people. Like everybody seems so happy in the gaming community. Is that true?
I think at a convention itself, absolutely, because people are there in person, so it's like when you're online, it's easier when you're playing games, just kind of be a dick and like be anonymous. But like at a convention itself, it holds people accountable to each other. So conventions are great. So do you not play games?
No, I don't play games, Michele.
None at all?
No games, Michele. I don't play any games.
I mean, video games. We're talking video games. None?
I played. So my brother was really good at like Call of Duty and Madden and all that stuff growing up. And he wouldn't let me just win it all. So, like, I played Madden one time.
Were you the little brother?
Yeah, and I just got my ass kicked, so I hated it. So he plays, and I never got a chance to really enjoy it. How did you get into it? You're a very beautiful lady.
Thank you.
You are, like, the face, like a personality of the gaming world. I assume you're an incredible gamer yourself. How did you get into it?
Wow. Well, I mean, my parents, when I was, like, a kid, they always had computers and stuff, so we always got to... we had like a Commodore 64 and Atari and NES, like all that growing up.
Atari, respect.
Yeah. Didn't you play Atari and stuff?
No, bro.
No
games.
Like, nope. I'm going to catch him. So at one point, he's going to be like, I one time went to a Chuck E. Cheese and played an arcade.
I didn't, yeah. Now that I'm an adult, I'm hindsight looking at it, I'm wondering why my parents were so adamant against me going to a Chuck E. Cheese. Kind of freaks me out.
You know, the same guy that founded Chuck E. Cheese is the same guy who founded the Atari.
That makes sense. That makes sense, Michele. It makes a lot of sense. That guy is very rich, by the way. In the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, I've eaten the pizza. People have brought the pizza out of a Chuck E. Cheese, and I've eaten it at my house. Good pizza, too. So that guy made good video game and good fucking pizza. Good for him.
Double whammy. He's doing all right.
He's okay.
Right. Yeah. But I got back into it. My boyfriend at the time, 10 years ago, my current husband, he had a PlayStation 2 at his house, and so I started ripping through his God of War games. I like the game, the franchise God of War, and I at the time had been severely injured in a stunt accident on a film. So I had fallen on my head, and I was in this super sexy neck brace because we had just started dating. So it was like. It was awesome. It was like 8 months in, and it was like I had a neck brace, and so we were playing video games to kind of get through it, and like nice of him to have stayed with me through it, because it was about a year. So he said, well, why don't you play this game World of Warcraft? Because it doesn't end. It's just kind of is a game that kind of keeps going. And while I started to play games and started getting into other games, started hosting for different companies, because I've been an actress for years, and so a lot of people had asked me to host, review different apps and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Like, sure, why not? I mean, there was a lot that I could do when you're in a neck brace. So I started writing articles for people like The Nerdist and Hello Giggles and a lot of these like digital startups that are doing a lot of big digital content now online. So it's kind of started out just kind of like that, just by being a fan in the community and loving it and talking about it. And since I did a lot of horror movies, there was kind of this weird crossover of horror fans and video game fans. It's a pretty tight knit little
same
group
demo.
There. Yeah, it's an interesting demo, so it kind of overlaps, and I just kind of found a really cool niche in there. And at one point, this company called Blizzard Entertainment asked me to host their convention in 2014. So this is my fourth year. I just finished convention.
It was at a fucking theater. It was at a theater. There was like thousands and thousands of people there. I just watched the video.
In Anaheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you watch some of it?
Well, I was sent over some of your stuff from your publicist, so I watched
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and there was thousands of fucking people at this thing, and I'm like, holy
Dude,
shit.
this year there were 30,000 people there, and Muse played.
Love that.
Yeah, it was cool. And then they had 5 esports tournaments going on at the same time. So, like, I host this convention, and while it's going on, these giant esports conventions going on. So it's interesting to hear. I'm gonna be interested to hear what you think, being that you come from a sports background. So I want to know like what your thoughts on.
Hey, this is my show, Michelle. I ask the goddamn questions, okay?
But I'm curious.
what if I think it's sport?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Like, I'll tell you a little bit more. I'm interested to hear what you think. So there's these 5 huge tournaments that are going on all at once, and there's 30,000 people watching. And this year alone, I mean, it makes more money. Esports in general, like not just BlizzCon, but esports in general makes more money than the NBA, the World Series, the NASCAR, the PGA Finals,
Wow.
the Stanley Cup Finals, all of it combined. The amount of money prize pools that go out. Millions and millions in dollars are going to these kids that are like 16, 17 years old and are playing these tournaments. It's insane.
Good for these kids.
Was even there.
Good for these kids. And I believe my brother is a good video gamer. Not a professional, but he was him and his friends would play. So I would watch them play. So I very much understand that there's levels to this shit. Like there's people that are really good and there's like loyal fans. So I completely understand it. But whenever I saw the thousands and thousands of people watching you, I was like, holy hell. Esports is at a whole new level right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just gone to it's gone to a place where I didn't think it could go. Like, I hosted the very first, there was this one called Heroes of the Dorm back in 2015, and it was ESPN
Clever name.
put it on the air. Yeah, right? And so what it did is it had, all college students could compete for college tuition. So whoever won college tuition for the rest of the college careers, which is pretty dope. So, like, these kids, like, went around and, like, formed these teams real quick, got on this huge tournament, and then Blizzard partnered with ESPN2, and now they're playing in front of this global audience, and people are watching on ESPN2 and tweeting like, what am I watching? Like, what the hell is this? Like, why are there dragons and
I don't understand shit about any of it, and I also don't understand anything about what's that show on Sundays? You probably love this show. What is it? Game of Thrones. You love Game of Thrones?
Of course I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah, see, I ain't never seen it, but I watched a couple episodes of this last season, and I see dragons blowing fire and like brothers having sex with sisters and stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is wild. But I am
It's like a niece thing, but yeah, it was weird.
It was a niece thing. Is that what you just said? Like it wasn't a brother?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't brother sister. It was niece. It was weird. We've come a long way, okay? Like season 1, we were like, oh my god, so gross, incest. And now we were kind of like, all right. It's been a weird turn.
But this community though is an active community. It's a loyal community, and it seems to be like a fucking great time community. The Gen Con thing here is the second largest convention in Indiana. It's like the largest. It's table games. It seems like it's such a cool group of people. It's like.
What did you do when you were there? Like, did you play games? Did
so
you
what
get demo stuff?
So I ate 2 edibles. And I walked in there with a camera, and you were speaking to somebody who literally has no idea about any of it. So I had a blast in there. Catan, is that a game? Catan?
Yeah, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, I learned that game. There was like a big roll of the dice happening, so I thought it was like very craps-like, so I love that. And then there was another game where there was like people going to war. Like England was going to war with somebody else, and there was like a gun on the table. There's negotiations. I very much enjoyed it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one before.
You need to come.
I know. It sounds like a good time. There's a lot of them.
I had an absolute blast. I have so many questions from before you hijacked this interview to ask a question in the middle of it. I have a question. You fell on your head and broke your neck. What? You were an actor? A stunt woman?
Yeah, I had this thing called thoracic outlet syndrome. So my first rib and my clavicle,
how?
made it so because I fell, and so when I fell on my head, I had an anatomical shift to the left, so it made it so like these two bones like made it so this artery I couldn't feel anything going down my arm, and so they had to remove half of my first rib.
Huh?
Yeah, no big.
Just an anatomical shift, huh? Just an anatomical shift to the left. Why did you fall on your head, though? What were you doing?
It was this dumb stunt thing. Like, I'd done this movie called Basement Jack. It was this horror movie. It was a lot of fun. It was the first time I'd had, like, this big starring role in something that had been slightly more money. It's still, like, a very low-budget horror movie. But at the time, I was like, hell yeah. So, they said, hey, we're doing this behind-the-scenes stunt day. Do you want to go? And I was like, definitely. I did a lot of my own stunts. I didn't do, like, the falls and stuff, but I did a lot of the fights. So it's like, for sure, and this facility had, like, free falls and, like, swings that go in circles and everything. And they had this thing called an air ram. And it's like a trampoline on hydraulics. So you step on it, and it, like, throws you out. They use it for, like, explosions in movies and stuff. So it's like, oh, that looks cool, because it was kind of, like, really easy. People were like, yeah. Like, I was like, oh, I can do that. Like, they're like, boo, choo, you know, like, it's fun. As soon as I stepped on it, it just immediately launched me into the air about 15 feet.
That's like a video game, right?
Right on my head.
That's like a video game, though, right? That's like a video when you like.
Basically. I just
soon as
totally
you touch
failed that jump. Like, I wish I could been like, pause, start this one over, but it did not go that way.
Well, I'm sorry you got that injury. That sounds wild, but it led you into your current career.
Absolutely, right? It was weird. It's weird how things happen like that.
I got arrested, and it launched through this one. So, I mean, broken.
Did you really?
Listen, that's a whole different story, Michelle. Thanks for listening to the show. It's a long time. So these conventions, because when Gen Con is here, every nightclub is rented out by some company, and there's people in costumes. They're partying hard. They're going hard till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. These things, this gaming community, this horror film community likes to have a great time. I assume since you're a leader of this community, you enjoy those types of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, why not? I mean, how fun is it to go dress up in your favorite superhero for a day? I mean, people do it on Halloween, and we get to do it once a year. So if there's an opportunity to do it again because there's a comic book convention, or because there's a video game convention, or because there's a tabletop convention, then why not? Like, I mean, it's fun, especially for families. You know, they can bring their kids to it. Something cool to do.
Yeah, get drunk with the kids.
Yeah, get wasted.
For like 3 years of my life, I dressed up.
Edibles.
Yeah, you're damn right. For like 3 years of my life, I dressed up like Hancock every night. Just didn't have any of the power. You know what I mean? Just didn't get.
Totally.
Yeah, that's the drunk one, Ty. For those of you that don't know gaming. So what is up with the furries? What's up with furries? That's your community too, right?
Well, I mean, I don't claim the furries.
Yeah, that's your community, though. That is your community, though. That is the game.
My community. Why can't it be your community?
Okay.
I've gone to football games and people like dress up like crazy and paint their faces. How's that different?
I would answer questions for them. So if you ask me questions about them, I would say those people have a rough week and their only outlet is on Sundays. And so they paint their faces, get wasted drunk, and go cheer for guys that they have nothing control of. Now, your turn with the furries. Let's talk about them.
Same, except for now they just go do it and they talk to other people and they talk to, you know, I mean, look, if they get freaky on their own, I have no control.
That's what I want to know. Them furries are all fucking, right?
I know anything about. Although there is this server on World of Warcraft. There's this server on World of Warcraft where it's called an ERP server, erotic roleplay.
Huh?
And people, I swear to God, people go on this thing. I made a character, so I had to see it. I was like, what? Of course,
you're just seeing it.
There were 3 bears in a circle just talking with like one girl as a goat dancing in the middle. I went inside and there were like guys dressed as pirates. I mean, it was a whole thing. It's a whole situation happening over there.
Like Sims? I played Sims. It sounds like you're describing a Sims set. Like, is World of Warcraft, you like just go hang out in your character on the internet with other people?
Yeah, think like that, but like massive multi-millions of people. Like think like 6 million people are playing all at the same time, and any of them can pop in and out depending on what server you're on. So yeah, like Sims, but more people.
Holy fuck! What's the next big thing in the gaming world? What's the next big thing you're getting into?
The next big thing in the gaming world is Overwatch League, for sure.
Who's that?
For sure. So the Overwatch League, you should definitely know about it because it's all like sports dudes getting involved, like major sports guys, like Shaq and A-Rod and J-Lo, and Jimmy Rollins from the Dodgers. They all like went in on this team called Energy, and so like okay, let me just step back for a second. There are
talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old because that's
Overwatch League.
Yeah.
There's 12 teams.
Okay.
There's 2 divisions.
Okay.
And they compete to go into the championships.
All right.
Okay?
In what?
In this video game called Overwatch.
Oh fuck, this isn't the league, this is the game?
It's a game that has a league to it.
Jesus Christ. All right.
So, people have paid $20 million
what?
For franchises. So Robert Kraft from the Patriots bought a $20 million team. And
how many players of Overwatch are on a team?
How many players?
Yeah.
There's 6 main players and I think 4 alternates.
So there's 10 on a team, 20 million, and they're each getting paid?
I don't know how much each player is getting paid specifically. I know there was one kid, Sinatra, who's 16, 17 years old, that got signed for $150,000 for his first year, which is pretty big for, 16-year-olds.
These kids back in the day used to play video games, and everybody would be like, go outside and do something. They're like, no, we like this. My brother would do it. He'd play video games. He's like, I enjoy this. This is fun for me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Nowadays, those same kids are getting $150,000 signing bonus. Yeah. They must be superstars in their high school. Like, the jocks, the kids are playing sports. The kids sitting at home like, you're a fucking idiot. What do you do? You're tackling people? Yeah, man. I'm playing a video game, having a great time with my friends, and I just got 6 figures out of fucking nowhere. Good for them. Yeah,
right? It's crazy. I think, Rick Fox. Rick Fox is another guy who started his own organization called Echo Fox. Magic Johnson co-owns a company with Team Liquid with the Wizards owner. Who else is in it? Mets COO Jeff Wilpon starting the New York team. Stevie Aoki owns the Vegas team. Ashton Kutcher owns Unicorn with Mark Cuban.
What?
Yep. Who else?
What is this? This is like getting in the weed game.
The 76ers bought controlling stake in Team Dignitas.
They ain't never going to win. That team ain't never going to win. That Dignitas team ain't never going to win. I don't know much about them, but I know they ain't never going to fucking win. That team ain't never going to win. That's all I know. That's all I know. I love Philadelphia, but goddamn, they suffered enough. So you're a personality for the gaming community. Is that like basically right?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Yeah, I do hosting and
boy, you just bounced around to 4 different answers right there. I mean, it was like a not very certain. If I said that wrong, definitely correct me. What did you
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm a host in the gaming community, so I do a lot of like moderating and presenting of games to, like, with developers. So I interview a lot of developers. And then on the other side of it is I created this whole YouTube Red series that's like a TV show about esports and gaming. So I took everything that was ridiculous about this world, like you're laughing about, like just the fact that just how just insane it is that a kid that's 16 is like making 6 figures, right? As a bonus. That's insane for playing video games. So we tried to write a series that would sort of celebrate and make fun of this crazy growing world as it's growing, because it doesn't know how to define itself yet. And like, there's no players union. There's no.
Are players getting fucked over by ownership?
Oh my God, yeah. And the gambling's like out of control. Like the gambling is insane. Like in Korea, in South Korea, there's this kid named Life who is like this killer StarCraft 2 player. Like, and over there, by the way, it is legit their national sport.
South Korea or North Korea?
Like, yeah.
North Korea does
South. Pretty sure it's South.
Okay. North Korea, a lot of meth heads up there. They don't know that. Could be good in the gaming industry. I'm not sure. Okay, South Korea.
He's got this guy named Life, and he's like this huge star, and he's in millions already. And these guys came to him and were like, "Look, man, throw this game and we'll give you, I don't know exactly how much it was, but we're just going to make up numbers here. We'll give you 30,000 extra if you throw it. And it was just a smaller game, and so he figured in his teenage brain, okay, well, sure,
I can lose for 30 grand.
Right, like it's not going to get me out of the finals. It'll help somebody get into the thing. I might make like third place, but who cares? And so he made the deal through the game, and 11 dudes went to jail over it. Whoa. And that's like crazy esports gambling. There was one with CSGO Lotto recently where these guys, these YouTubers actually owned this gambling website for Counter-Strike Global Offensive and would drive their audience of teenagers who were underage to illegally gamble their skins away while they were watching these esports events. It was madness.
What? This is a fucking black market of just fuckery. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's bananas. There's crazy shit going on. Or crap, sorry. Oh, can I say it? Sorry. Crap.
I've said fuck no less than 45 times. No less. I don't think there. If we were doing math, I don't think there's any. I am so intrigued by this. So Life was Adam Sandler in The Longest Yard.
Sure.
You don't know what that means. Do you watch sports?
I mean, I do, but I don't know. I don't watch Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, what? What? Listen.
I mean,
listen.
Really watch him
Wait a fucking minute.
It's been a while.
Adam Sandler pre-sellout was incredible. Let's just talk about that.
Where's that line?
It's a long time ago. It's a long time ago.
Longest Yard was the last good one.
Yeah, Longest Yard probably. This movie. Okay. He was a quarterback that threw a game, and then he ended up in jail. Then he played in jail. Then he got tempted to throw a game again. So Life's... What's that?
In jail?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so similar.
Is Life in jail?
I don't know if he's still in jail. At the time, he was a couple years ago.
Life needed to get life.
You need to get life sentence.
Cheating. 30 grand, fucking over the kids. All right, so I saw you breaking down apps in some... You like talk about like video game app. What's your favorite video game app that I could potentially do and make a lot of money?
Video game app? Well, what kind of genre do you like?
Okay, so I got this like backflip ninja game I play where I have to tap the screen one time. He jumps. I have to tap it again. He begins his flip, and then I have to tap it again for him to land it. And there's only like 5 levels, and I've mastered them all. It's probably my favorite game.
Okay, so you like challenges.
I also like word searchers. That's why I like Wheel of Fortune more than Jeopardy.
Well, there's this really cool game called The Room, and it has like 4 parts to it, I think now. But it's like one of these crazy games that you could just put your headphones in and you solve the puzzles of it, and it's crazy. You have to like go into this.
It's called what? The Room?
The Room.
How much is it?
I think it's like $4.99.
Are any of the motherfuckers that own that throwing games so that I'm gonna get fucked over on The Room?
I don't think this one could be.
Are you pitching a Ponzi scheme right now, Michelle?
No.
Unbelievable. Who's the best gamer on earth? Is that decided, or is there so many different genres? Is there like people that
different genres? Yeah, I'd be like comparing Wayne Gretzky to Magic Johnson. Like how you could.
Well, one beat AIDS, one didn't. So I would say Magic Johnson is better than Wayne Gretzky. There, if I had to guess, that's what I would.
Okay. So then Kobe Bryant.
Okay, I like that. He got away. Yeah, he beat Colorado. Something in Colorado happened in a hotel room, and he got around it. But like, what is the most popular game that, like, Call of Duty? Is that a gigantic game that people compete against?
Absolutely, yeah. Call of Duty's huge. Call of Duty is known for having really cool concerts too. They usually get like Snoop and like cool DJs to play like Stevie Aoki and stuff.
Snoop Loop.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty's thriving. Rocket League is doing really well, which is funny because it was kind of like a little indie game that the community loved and decided this is going to be an esports, and it's just like cars.
Are you a high up member of the E community? Like, are you like a member of the Illuminati? Are you Illuminati of the E community? I want to hear it.
The E community?
That's what you just said. You said it was an indie little game that the people in the business basically liked, Rocket League, and now it's
in the community. Yeah, in the community. Well, the community is just the gaming community. Like, they decide if something's like, look, a game developer could come in and they could say, we want this to be an esport.
Mm-hmm. But
it's up to the fans if they actually want to watch it or not, right? And sometimes the game companies don't know that they're making an esport. Sometimes they think they're just making a game. Like Rocket League was one of those. So it's just like a large outcry of people. It's not just one.
Yeah, but you're definitely in the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Yeah, you're definitely in the Illuminati community. You're the member of the Illuminati. Good for you. That's awesome. That's probably. Did you ever imagine that this is what you were going to be doing for a full-time living when you were a kid? Didn't you play softball growing up?
I did. I played softball up through my first year of college, and then I got to college, and it was a lot of work. It was like really early morning, and I was a pinch runner, and that was not going to happen.
Oh, you got good speed. You got speed. You can run.
I was, yeah, but I played second base all through. I played, varsity and stuff all through college. I played since I was, I think, 5 years old. So, I grew up watching Mariners games with my dad. We used to always go to the Kingdome. I watched the Kingdome implode, actually, when I was in Seattle. It was really cool. It was like a whole event to go to. I remember hating A-Rod because he wanted all of his own merchandise stands, and when he left, we became the most winning team in baseball at that time. So
fuck you, A-Rod, with your turtleneck.
Screw you. But now he owns an esports team, so maybe he's making the right moves.
A-Rod Corp owns everything, by the way. Just for Alex Rodriguez owns everything. I learned that on Shark Tank. Sorry, you can go back to your story.
Does he?
Yes.
Is that on Shark Tank?
Yeah, he's on Shark Tank. He is on Shark Tank. Alex Rodriguez is on Shark Tank, so he owns everything. He literally, when they introduce him, they're like, all of our sharks have been self-made millionaires over again. And then A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, founder of A-Rod Corp, owns 50,000 fucking apartment complex, 4,000 gyms, ice shaker. Now he has an he does everything. A-Rod owns everything.
Jesus.
Yep.
I had no idea.
All because the Mariners paid him. That's why.
Yeah, they paid him huge.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really I kind of backed out of it as much because there's so much to focus on with esports. But I was watching the World Series recently because it was the Dodgers, of course. So and there's a guy named Brandon Morrow who's the pitcher. So that I wish I was related to him so I could get tickets, but we're not related.
What an angle you're just not that you're pulling for him just by the name. Strictly for tickets. Strictly for tickets. Why not? What are the ticketing for those big time games, those tournaments? Is that people sitting bleachers? What is it?
What do you mean? You're what?
Like whenever a Call of Duty tournament happens, do people sit? Is it in an arena? How the fuck is it?
Sometimes. For League of Legends Worlds, I went to. It filled the Staples Center. It was like a concert, and they all played in the middle. So think like a hockey match, or think like
game.
Yeah, just think like a hockey game, okay? And in the center, they have on one side you've got one team, and on one side you've got the other team. And they've got these screens in front of them that are huddled that are like GoPros of their faces, so you can see their faces projected onto the fronts of their desks. And then on the field in the middle of where you would play basketball or hockey or whatever, that they project down a map of the game so that all of the people watching can view the game and see what is happening.
Is there drugs? What drugs are there's so many drugs. I bet you this is not a very sober atmosphere.
I don't think so. Yeah, people are having a good time.
What are the I could imagine if I'm watching a video game happen in front of me, I'd probably enjoy it too. The gamers, do they get drug tested?
Yes, there's a lot of that because there was a lot of Adderall going on for a while to keep guys up. So yeah, there's drug testing before every match.
They got to go with meth.
And they test their equipment to make sure that there's no bots and stuff on it, to make sure that there's no aim bots to help them aim. Yeah, there's all these cheating methods that they can use because it's technology. So you could just they've got to check everything. They check your mouse. They're everything.
I didn't know nerds are trying to cheat shit. I always thought nerds are super wholesome people. Now they got to check them for fucking super nerding on other.
These aren't just nerds. These are competitors. These are people who are trying to win lots of money by playing a game. They'll do anything. There's been some bad guys. But some of it's all right.
Life's a bad guy.
Life screwed it up.
11 people going to jail because of life. Yikes. All right. Well, Michelle, I appreciate you. I want to get out to one of these tournaments.
You should come. You're in Indianapolis. Is that where you're based?
Yep. Right here in America.
If you come to also America, which is Los Angeles, there's an arena here. there's an arena here that they just built for Blizzard, and they're starting the preseason for Overwatch League December 10th, I think. And then that's when the preseason is, and then the regular season is in January. It begins, and then the finals are in July.
And Blizzard is a sports league.
Blizzard Entertainment is it's so Activision. If you've heard of Activision before, it's Activision Blizzard is a company, and then they own this Blizzard esports arena and this Overwatch League I told you about with like Robert Kraft and the Mets guys and A-Rod and everybody. That they have teams in it.
Well, I can't wait to get out to one of those. I feel like I've learned so much. The amount of knowledge you've dropped on me today is very, very
You're like that emoji of like the brain exploding.
Yeah, yep. Like the one where Zach Galifianakis has all the question marks going around him. That's how I feel right now after all this. I have so many questions. I could literally talk to you for 2 hours, but I can't because we have a show.
You have to watch my show, and you'll get more answers from it because it's on YouTube Red right now, and it's available. You can get like the free trial, and you can binge it, and it's only 6 episodes, and I'll tell you lots about esports. And it's funny. It's like we produced it with Dan Harmon, and we have writers from Rick and Morty, so
nice.
You should watch it.
Really good plug right there at the end.
Thank you. Yeah. Just had to get that in there, buddy.
Slide it in. Well, Michele, I appreciate you so much. I can't wait to check that out on YouTube Red. I can't wait to come watch a thingy. A match? A game? A battle?
Sports.
Who?
Competition is fine.
All that. I cannot wait. I thank you so much for joining. I think my people are really going to enjoy this. Michele, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Michele Morrow.
Bye, guys.